Let me ask you something tonight. What if the person you've been praying for, the love you've been waiting on, the partner you think you still have to find has already been chosen by God? What if heaven is not searching because heaven already decided? Some of you think you're late. Some of you think you missed it. Some of you think you chose wrong. But I came to announce something that might shake your comfort and stretch your faith. God did not leave the most important relationship of your life to chance. Before your heart ever broke, before your tears ever fell, before you ever said never again, God already wrote a name. And when you hear how God chooses, this name will shock you. Stay with me, because tonight we are not talking about romance. We are talking about alignment. We are not talking about feelings. We are talking about purpose, and we are not talking about luck. We are talking about God's intention for your life. Have you ever wondered why some people are drawn to the wrong person over and over again? Why some relationships start with fireworks but end in ashes? It's because most of us choose based on preference. We choose based on what feels good, what looks good, what sounds exciting, or what our heart convinces us to chase in the moment. We are drawn to the flashy, the comfortable, the familiar. We are drawn to the person who makes us laugh, who fits neatly into our routines, who seems perfect on paper. But here's the truth. That is not how destiny works. God doesn't pick your partner based on what you prefer, or what society tells you is right, or what your emotions scream at you. God chooses by purpose. Think about it. If God chose your life partner the same way you pick a favorite meal or a pair of shoes, your whole life could be built on temporary satisfaction, not enduring fulfillment. You might be happy in the short term, but the long-term consequences could be devastating. God sees the bigger picture, the one you can't even imagine. God doesn't just look at who you love or who you feel comfortable with. God looks at who will stretch you, who will challenge you, who will propel you toward your destiny, and who will walk with you on the road you are meant to travel. Let me give you an example. Imagine a young woman named Sarah. Ara is smart, ambitious, and full of dreams. She meets a man who is charming, handsome, and funny. Every time he walks into a room, she feels alive. Every text from him makes her heart race. On the surface, it's perfect, but over time, she notices cracks. He doesn't support her goals. He criticizes her when she tries to advance her career. He discourages her ambition, and slowly, Sarah begins to shrink herself to fit his comfort zone. That man may have been her preference. He may have checked every box that her heart desired, but he was not chosen by God. God's choice for Sarah was someone who would amplify her purpose, someone who would celebrate her victories, someone who would challenge her to grow instead of shrink, someone who would walk with her not just through the easy days, but the trials and storms that life inevitably brings. This is what I want you to understand tonight. God's choice is never just about love. It is about alignment. It is about the person who complements your journey, who pushes you closer to your potential, who encourages your dreams rather than diminishes them. God's chosen partner will not distract you from your calling. They will help you see it more clearly. They will not hold you back. They will move forward with you. And the most important thing, you will recognize the difference, because with God's chosen, your spirit will feel a sense of peace and clarity that goes beyond attraction. Think about your daily life for a moment. How many people have come into your life who seemed perfect at first, but eventually left you drained, frustrated, or unfulfilled? How many relationships have left you questioning yourself, wondering if love was supposed to feel like this? That's because those people were based on preference, not purpose. God's design is never temporary or draining. God's design is life-giving, purpose-driven, and destiny-aligned. God chooses the one who will support you when you wake up early to chase your dreams. He one who will celebrate with you when you reach milestones others doubted you could ever achieve. The one who will encourage you to continue when life tries to knock you down. That's the person God chooses. Not the one who just makes your heart flutter. Not the one who looks good in photos. Not the one who is convenient or familiar. The one God chooses is the person who was meant to show up in why. Our life at the exact moment when you are ready to grow, to give, and to receive in ways that align with your highest purpose. And here's the most beautiful part. God's choice is never wrong. It is never too late. It is never too early. It is always intentional. You may not see the logic of it in the beginning. You may question why the person you thought was perfect never worked out. You may even feel frustrated and impatient. But the universe, or if you believe God, is always working behind the scenes, preparing you, preparing them, and preparing your paths to meet in a way that serves your highest calling. So tonight, stop choosing based on what feels good. Stop chasing what excites you in the moment. Stop settling for someone who does not enhance your life, your dreams, and your growth. Instead, open yourself to the truth. God's choice is already waiting. The one who will stand by your side, encourage your ambitions, challenge your weaknesses, and amplify your gifts. That person is already chosen. You just have to trust the process. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself and let destiny unfold. Remember, preference is fleeting. Purpose lasts forever. God chooses by pose, not preference. And when you align with that, when you step into the person God intended you to be, the person God chose for you will show up, not to complete you, but to complement you in the most extraordinary, destiny-driven way possible. Some of you here tonight are feeling frustrated. You're tired of waiting. You're tired of seeing everyone else move forward while you feel stuck. You've prayed. You've hoped. You've done everything you thought you could do to meet the person who is meant for you, and yet nothing. The silence has been deafening. The waiting has been exhausting. You're starting to wonder, did God forget me? Did I miss my chance? Am I too late? Let me tell you something, and I want you to really hear me. Delay does not mean denial. Just because something hasn't arrived yet does not mean it isn't coming. Just because the door hasn't opened yet does not mean it will never open. Sometimes the very thing you are desperate for, the life partner, the opportunity, the dream, is being held in divine timing, being protected, being prepared for the perfect moment. Think about a seed for a moment. You plant it in the soil, you water it, you nurture it, you watch it every day. And some days it seems like nothing is happening. Weeks go by, months go by, and you feel like giving up. Why isn't it growing, you ask? Is it even going to grow at all? But the truth is, the seed is busy building roots, developing strength, and preparing to sprout at the right time. The delay is not denial. The delay is preparation. And when that seed finally bursts through the SOI, you will see that the waiting was necessary. The roots had to grow deep so that the plant could withstand the storms. Your life partner works the same way. God does not allow you to meet them too early because you are not yet ready. You may not see it, and it may feel painful, but every delay has a purpose. Imagine meeting your partner 5 years too early, before you had learned patience, before you had healed from past wounds, before you had stepped fully into your purpose. That perfect relationship might have crumbled under the weight of your unfinished growth. God's timing is not a punishment. It is protection. It is mercy wrapped in delay. Let me give you an example from everyday life. Imagine a young man named Daniel. Daniel is ambitious, determined, and full of energy. He wants to start a business, travel the world, and build a life that matters. He meets a woman who seems amazing on the surface. She is beautiful, charming, and fun to be around, but she does not share his goals. She is not interested in growth or ambition. She is comfortable where she is. Daniel is attracted, but God knows that if he commits now, he will be slowed down, distracted, and pulled away from the path he is meant to walk. The delay, being single, waiting, focusing on himself, is God's way of saying, not yet. You need to be ready. You need to be whole. You need to be the man I am creating you to be before I bring her to you. And think about the people around you too. How often do you see friends who rush into relationships only to face heartbreak and disappointment? How often do you See people who meet the right person but too early, before they are ready to give or receive the love they deserve. Life is full of examples of delay, but delay is never denial. It is preparation. It is God's timing at work. Sometimes the delay is not even about you. Sometimes it is about the other person. They need time to grow, to heal, to learn lessons before they can meet you as a whole, see, complete and capable partner. And God in his wisdom keeps you both apart until the right season, the right moment, the right alignment of hearts and destinies. The waiting may be frustrating, but it is intentional. Think about your daily life for a moment. How many times have you felt ready for something, an opportunity, a promotion, a relationship, but it didn't happen yet, and then, weeks or more, inches later, it arrived in a way far better than you could have imagined? That is God's timing. That is divine delay working in your favor. The waiting is not a punishment. The waiting is a preparation room, a training ground, a workshop for your destiny. And here's the truth that changes everything. When God finally opens the door, when the timing is perfect, when the alignment is complete, what arrives will not just meet your expectations, it will exceed them. It will be more than you imagined, more than you hoped, and more than you ever deserved. The waiting makes the reward sweeter. The delay makes the blessing richer. The preparation makes the union stronger. So tonight, if you are feeling frustrated, if you are feeling overlooked, if you are feeling like time is running out, I want why. To remember this, delay is not denial. Every moment of waiting has a purpose. Every day of patience is building your strength, your wisdom, and your readiness. Every experience of heartbreak, loneliness, or disappointment is shaping you into the person capable of receiving the love God has already chosen for you. Stop rushing, stop worrying, stop comparing yourself to others, stop doubting. He what is meant for you will find you. God is not late. God is not confused. God is not careless. What God has chosen for you cannot miss you. And while you wait, focus on becoming the person worthy of that blessing, the person who will recognize them when they arrive, embrace them fully, and walk together on the path God has prepared for you. Delay is not denial. Delay is divine preparation. Dilla. Why is a sign that God values you enough to wait for the perfect moment, the perfect alignment, the perfect partner. And when it finally happens, it will feel effortless, natural, and exactly right, because God's timing is always perfect. Some of you here tonight are still carrying the weight of heartbreak, disappointment, and failed relationships. You've loved, you've given your all, and yet somehow things fell apart. Maybe you thought you had found the one. Maybe you thought this was it, that this relationship was meant to last, but it didn't. And deep down, you're asking yourself, why? Why did this happen to me? Why did I invest so much in someone who left me broken? Let me tell you something I want you to hear with every fiber of your being tonight. God will never connect you to what why. Destroy you. No matter how good it looked, no matter how promising it seemed, no matter how much your heart wanted it, if it caused pain, confusion, or disappointment, it was never meant for you. God's plan is not about giving you temporary pleasure. God's plan is about giving you lasting purpose, protection, and alignment. Think about a glass. Imagine pouring water into a glass that has cracks. No matter how carefully you pour, the water will spill out. It cannot stay. That glass is not meant to hold what you're pouring into it. Your life is like that. God knows who is capable of holding your heart, who is capable of walking with you through storms, and who is capable of uplifting your dreams. Anyone who cannot hold you, support you, and honor your purpose will spill the love, energy, and potential you bring into their life. God protects you from that. Let me give you a story from daily life. There was a young woman named Maya. She was vibrant, ambitious, and full of life. She met a man who seemed perfect. He was charming, attentive, and said all the right things. At first, everything seemed like a dream, but over time, cracks began to show. He was controlling. He dismissed our ambitions. and he drained her energy. She loved him, but she was slowly losing herself in the process. If she had stayed, she would have lost not just her happiness, but her purpose. God did not bring her together with him to teach her to love him. God kept her away from him to teach her to value herself, to protect her dreams, and to wait for someone who would amplify her life instead of diminy. Shit. That is the power of divine protection. Think about your daily experiences. How many times have you almost stepped into situations that seemed good at first, only to realize they would have brought chaos, pain, or destruction? Maybe it was a job that promised stability but turned toxic. Maybe it was a friendship that seemed loyal but ended in betrayal. Maybe it was a relationship that felt passionate but slowly consumed your peace and joy. That was not failure. That was God's protection. That was divine intervention in action. God is not in the business of giving you what feels good in the moment if it will hurt you in the long run. Sometimes we look at someone and we see potential, charm, and connection, but God sees the long-term consequences, the arguments, the compromises, the erosion of character, the loss of purpose. God knows that a relationship built on attraction alone, without alignment and shared values, will eventually crumble. And God refuses to allow your life, your dreams, and your heart to be destroyed for the sake of temporary pleasure. Let's bring this closer to your daily life. Imagine you are building a house. Every brick has to be placed carefully. If why? Oh, rush. If you put weak foundations in, the house will collapse. God's wisdom works in the same way. The people, opportunities, and relationships he allows in your life are like the bricks of your foundation. He will never allow a person in who will weaken your structure. He will never allow someone to destroy the home he is building inside of you. If someone leaves, if someone disappoints, if so, Mayone fails you. It is not a punishment. It is a divine safeguard. And here's the beautiful part. God's protection is often invisible at first. When someone walks away, it hurts. When doors close, it frustrates you. But over time, you start to see the wisdom behind it. You begin to realize that the heartbreak, the rejection, or the failed relationship was actually a blessing in disguise. It kept why or safe from a life of pain. It kept you from compromising your values. It kept you aligned with the path that was always meant for you. Some of you need to hear this tonight. Stop blaming yourself for relationships that failed. Stop wondering why it didn't work out. Stop thinking that love has forsaken you. God has not forsaken you. God is not punishing you. God is protecting you. Every person who was not meant for you has been filtered out by divine design. And every person who comes into your life moving forward will be chosen not by chance, not by attraction, but by purpose, alignment, and destiny. Think about this in your everyday moments. Every time you resisted temptation, every time you walked away from a toxic friendship, every time you left a relationship that drained your spur, you were not losing, you were winning, you were protecting your heart. You were guarding your dreams. You were preparing yourself to receive what God has already chosen for you. A love that builds, nurtures, strengthens, and empowers. So tonight, I want you to make a promise to yourself. No longer will you settle for what is destructive. No longer will you compromise your purpose for temporary comfort. No longer will you allow anyone into your life who diminishes your spirit or pulls you away from your calling. God will never connect you to what will destroy you. That is a guarantee. That is truth. That is protection. And when the right person comes along, you will recognize it, not because they are perfect in the world's eyes, but because they are perfect for the life God is building inside of you. Remember this, the pain you endured, the heartbreak you survived, the people who left, none of it was wasted. All of it was preparation. All of it was protection. And now, standing on the other side, you are ready for the kind of love that cannot harm you, cannot drain you, and cannot derail you. God is faithful. God is wise, and God's protection is greater than any mistake, any temptation, or any heartbreak you've ever faced. Some of you here tonight are waiting. You've imagined it. You've pictured it. You've mapped it out in your mind. You know what you want. You've made lists, imagined scenarios, and even rehearsed the moment in your head. You know the type of person you think you are meant to be with. You have a picture in your mind, a name on your lips, a face in your drawer. And yet, somehow, deep down, a voice keeps whispering, it might not be who you think it is. And here's the truth. I want you to hold on to. The name God has chosen for your life partner will shock you because it's not who you expected. It will surprise you. It will catch you off guard. It may even make you question everything you thought you knew about love, life, and timing. But that shock is not meant to scare you. It is meant to awaken you to the fact that God's plan is far bigger than your imagination, far wiser than your understanding, and far more aligned with your purpose than anything you could have ever designed. Think about the way life surprises you every day. You plan to take one route to work, and a detour lands you at the exact place you needed to be. You think you know the outcome of a project, a decision, or a relationship, and the result shocks you. But in a good way. Life often brings what is best in the most unexpected forms, and love is no different. God's choice for your partner will arrive in a way that disrupts your expectations and challenges your assumptions. The shock is part of the miracle. Let me give you an example. There was a young man named Elijah, who thought he knew exactly who he was meant to marry. He had a type. The same values, the same career ambitions, the same social circle. He spent years searching for her, but every time he thought he found the one, something didn't feel right. Then one day he met someone completely outside of his usual expectations. She had a different background, different interests, even a different sense of humor. At first he resisted. This can't be right, he told himself. She's nothing like what I imagined. But as time went on, he realized something extraordinary. She inspired him. She challenged him. She strengthened him. And she helped him grow into the man he was meant to become. The shock of her name, the surprise of her presence, was God's way of showing him that he had a plan far greater than Elijah's imagination. Think about your own life. How many times has God surprised you in small ways? Perhaps a friend recommended a book that changed your perspective. Perhaps a stranger gave you advice that altered the course of your day. Perhaps you took a job or moved to a place you never expected, and it became the catalyst for your growth. God works in the same way in love. Son you are meant to spend your life with may not check all the boxes you imagine, but they will check the right boxes for your soul, your purpose, and your destiny. The shock comes because human imagination is limited. We see with our eyes and feel with our emotions, but God sees the bigger picture. God looks at who you are becoming, not just who you are right now. God knows your heart, your pose, and your journey. And he chooses someone who will complement all of it, even if it defies your expectations. That's why the name will shock you. It is proof that God is orchestrating your life, not you. It is proof that what he has chosen cannot be predicted, cannot be rushed, and cannot be replaced. Let me put it another way. Imagine you are standing in a room full of doors. You've trained yourself to look for a bright red door because you've always been drawn to red. But the door you are meant to go through is blue. You hesitate, you doubt, you question yourself because it's not what you expected. But when you step through that blue door, you discover a world more beautiful than you could have imagined, filled with opportunity, joy, and alignment. That is what God's choice for you. Her life partner is like. The shock is only temporary. The blessing is permanent. Some of you have been looking for a relationship that mirrors your past, that fits your assumptions, that meets your comfort zone. But God is about growth, not comfort. God is about destiny, not familiarity. God is about alignment, not convenience. And sometimes the name he has chosen for your life partner will make you stop in your tracks because it challenges everything you thought you knew about who your person would be. And that shock, that's a sign that you are on the right path. That's a sign that God is moving. That's a sign that destiny is unfolding exactly as it should. So tonight, I want you to release your expectations. Let go of the checklist you've made, the image you've painted, the assumptions. you've held on to. God's choice may shock you. It may surprise you. It may make you question everything, but it will never disappoint you. The person God has chosen for you is designed not just for your heart, but for your purpose, your growth, and your destiny. Remember, the name is shocking because it is not who you expected. And that is a blessing. That is divine wisdom. That is proof that God is orchestrating your life in ways far beyond your imagination. When you finally meet them, you will understand why the wait was necessary, why the shock was needed, and why everything else was only preparing you for this one perfect alignment. Tonight, I want you to trust that God knows exactly who it is. The name may surprise you, the face may shock you, and the timing may confuse you, but when a T arrives, it will feel like destiny. And you will finally see that what God has chosen is always far better than anything you could have planned. Some of you are tired of waiting. You're wondering why love hasn't found you yet. You've prayed, you've hoped, you've wished, and you've tried every possible way to make it happen. You've gone on dates,